And we're live. Welcome back to another Overthrow Disc Golf Form Review live stream. What up? Yeah. Sip. This could be a very eventful live stream if our custom neutron watts come in. Or it could just be normal amounts of action, whatever that means. All right. I thought in honor of Ledgestone coming up here, which is the first time I met Holland, actually, which we got a podcast episode coming out with her. Oh, let me give you a lowdown of some of the stuff that's coming out. We got a podcast episode coming out with her on Wednesday. We've got, what's up, Sebastian? We've got our neutron watts coming in, so we'll do a review on those coming up. We've got a ladies only video. We've got a data series episode on grip that we've got to do. This is all just coming up in the next 2 weeks. There's lots. And then I think I got to talk with Mikey, but I think I want to go back and just answer some of the questions that came up from lead arm stuff. Yeah, so that's probably going to be the next thing before we start moving into trail arm and footwork in videos very similar to the last two that came out. Yeah. So yeah, anyways, in honor of Ledgestone, we've got a bunch of Ledgestone 2022 Ledgestone stuff in the shop, so I thought I'd pull some really pretty ones. So the XL, that thing has a cult following, and then a Crystal Sparkle Stalker I'll be demonstrating with these today. Unless I actually need a throw, then I'll just use the Tech Disc, which is an Undertaker. It's another disc cap thing. I'm new. How do I get a form review? Form review, you can go to the description below. That would take you to our Patreon. It's the $15 tier. And then you would get in. So, warning, if you get in today, which I would not recommend unless you're already on lock with a video. But I would recommend waiting to join the Patreon until tomorrow, the 1st of the month. So you don't get charged today when you sign up and then charged again tomorrow because the 1st of the month. So don't do that. Unless you just like throwing money at us, which I'm not going to say no, but you probably don't want that, right? What's up, Johnny? Johnny. I got your form right here, brother. Barbazol should sponsor you. Hey, this is pretty good right here, isn't it? I mean, you guys, you can't complain about this, right? That's not really even that much. I mean, you can complain. I mean, complainer's going to complain, but, I wouldn't. Oh, look at fresh. Our polos are clean. I like our polos. Is that an asphalt T-pad or is that like some kind of rubber? Anyways. How far away or how close can I bring this thing to me without destroying Mikey's system? Sorry, we got a T-pad in here now and I'm on little rollers. Okay. Yeah, I thought it might have been a little rubber turf thing. I was like, dude, if you're pouring asphalt, might as well just pour concrete, right? The timing here is looking pretty good, actually. I'm pretty happy with this. Got the old school swing up. Interesting. Okay, I want to be closer to this so I can slouch. Barty Crouch Jr. I really wish we had Albert Tom in here for your review specifically. But you know, Philo's pretty close. Use. Hiya. Let's go a little bit further. Max size, right? That's good. Was yeah, the thing that I really like, well, I like a lot of things about Philo's form. The thing that I would like you to notice from Philo's form is just how he's getting into the pocket here. Even though his left arm's coming in early, like early as in not on time, but early as in ahead of his right arm. As in not on time. Man, these double negatives. Right? But look kind of how still the shoulders are as he goes through this. Right, as he works his way through the pocket. Plenty of room. Doesn't get scrunched up in the shoulder here. Right, this back shoulder is not driving forward, taking his space away. So that's kind of the first thing that I notice here is just how cleanly he gets through the pocket versus your disc has to go through a couple of detours. Right, and the chest is kind of already opening here. Your chest is already moving forward at your hit. Right, still scrunched. Chest probably a bit too forward. But yeah, so I would look at quieting down the shoulders a bit. I just stand up and I go back. Let's use the stalker. All right. So from back here, and this is something that's been throwing some of our commenters for a loop. But from back here, if you ignore your shoulders and you almost just like leave your shoulders back here, as you start moving through with the hand, it pulls the shoulders as you try to move the disc forward and through. In order to get it here, your shoulders go, okay, I have to open up to some extent to make that happen, right? So just being a little more passive there with the shoulders instead of coming around. That's different than the left hand like coming in and pinning, right? So even if you bring your left hand in here, it's not like you're going and driving the left shoulder. So forward, through. Right. Yeah. And then the timing here with the front foot, you know, once you start getting the hands going past the body here, to make sure you don't go past your brace, we start pressing up here with the hip to keep you. Once your hand gets here, now your body wants to go with it, right? Because there's a lot of momentum. So that's when the leg starts pressing up into this hit to finish and secure your stability there. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it goes, dude. It's just a big old game of whack-a-mole. You go through, you whack it, it's good for a second, you go to whack this other one, and then all of a sudden that same stupid one pops back up, right? But good thing is it takes longer to, you know, pop back up, and eventually they actually stay down, and you win the game if you keep playing. If you don't keep playing, then you just lose, and they just keep popping up and annoying you the whole time. All right. Who else is on here? Let's get grooving. Although, there's a chance if I go really slow, then got it. What's up, John? Hey, hi. Shorter players having a tougher time getting in the power pocket. Unsure. We do these twice a month. One in the middle of the month and one at the very end of the month. So, but don't sign up until at least tomorrow, because you'll get double dinked on the charge. And I don't want that. I don't want that for you. Okay, to the standstills. Whoop. The rock. Okay. So I'm going to go with lower body because you're doing a standstill. So standstill semi-tutorial here. Do I need to move that? Did I move that last time? Did I move it last time? Oh, okay. All right. Let's use the Excel. I'll probably switch to tech disc actually. Oh yeah. You guys see me lift that with one hand? I mean, shoot. One hand all back. Okay, so when we're working on standstills, you've got the right idea with the rock, right? This is really just like pressing between the feet. Now, when you do this, when you rock back, you want to rock back onto your back toe. Okay, so right now you're going back on in your right foot goes, you rock back onto like your heel in the outside of your right foot. You need to rock back onto the toe. That's thing one. So we go. Rock back. And I like the turn that you're doing. So you rock back with your turn, staying on this right toe for you. And then from here, we need to go, since we're on your lead toe, your left toe. Let me just switch to lefty. Okay. Right toe, with a turn, you're here. From here, you need to sit in a chair. You need to plant this heel. You need to put pressure here without twisting. So you go from here, and then since it's part of it's because of where your pressure's at on your right foot, but you're going twist and go. It's just one move. It's just to the heel, sitting into it, right? And then we swing. Okay, so let me show you how to practice this. This I will do as a righty. All right. So, yes, you can see me here. Perfect. So we're here. Rocking, pushing back and forth to the rear toe. Sit down into that heel. We shift forward. We don't open. Let's rock back into the heel. Arm still back. Throw. Rock back into the heel. Throw. Bye-bye. Tech disc. All right. Then you can work on arm movement stuff later. Slowly pick up the speed until it's just one move. Obviously, you don't see pros even in slow motion where you're like, oh, there's a distinct part here. Only coaches and people who are super nerdy see it as two parts. Eventually, it's going to become one weight transfer. So yeah. All right. I'll show you your video here again. Whoop. So you can see what I'm talking about. So the posture needs to be better here on that right toe, and then watch your twist as you go. So if you're working standstills, it's a good thing. Make sure that we're getting the benefit of standstills, which is mostly getting the weight shift correct. Cam Hoff is here. He asked the question about short people in power pockets, because it seems like my buddy can't bring the disc in close enough due to the length of his arm from shoulder to elbow. If you can start it here and get his hand on the back of the disc like this, then he can do it. Right? It'd have to be fairly short, fairly short. I've never seen that issue before. Okay, forehand. For Cam the Hoffman. Okay, so I don't like already the setup with the right foot. It's too straight. And then I don't like the hips. Yeah, this is, so watch the hips slide forward here. Watch, and they just keep sliding. Right. Part of this is because of setup. This is the same thing, just on the forehand side as the last guy. Shoop. Okay. It's interesting because I can only throw one direction. All of them. I can throw the entirety of one direction. Some of you are going to get that. And some of you are going to have to ask your daughters. All right. First, this right foot, when we get here, you're going to see almost every pro have this foot angled like 90 degrees off, basically, because this gives our hips here instead of coming in forward like this, right? If the hips are forward, then you cannot use them. And the hips are very active on the forehand side over how they are on the backhand side, right? So here we get this whole from here to here. I don't even have to move my arm, and I get this whole range of motion here. I'm not moving my arm at all. I can actually hold my elbow and show you, right? But if I come in to this step here, and my arm is slotted correctly, and I come in straight, this is all I've got. Right? It's not very much to get it firing forward, right? Unless I cheat and go way left. 144p, that's probably not on Mikey's end, if I had to guess. But we want this right foot here so we can get our chest and our hips turned away from the target. That's thing one. Thing two is then when we go to plant, our hips rotate very much in place. Right? So that means, so the move is not this. It's not go here and then our hips slide forward, right? And the left hip keeps sliding in front of the right hip and the right hip keeps sliding. It's not like zoop. What happens is the hips go zoop around like that. And so that's why we have to have a solid step here. We come in on our heel, and now this ends up pushing this left hip back. So my left butt cheek actually goes back towards the net as my right butt cheek goes forward. Okay? So it's set up here, step, and then slap with the hips, right? If you want to feel the hip motion, attach your elbow to your side like this. This is not the arm slot, really, but attach it here anyways. Do not move your arm at all, so none of this. And then just slap someone like this without moving your arm. Right? It's just... What in the world, Mikey? So yeah. So you should feel that. Yeah. On Fortnite, coming soon. So then, so yeah, then it's hips first and then hands. But that left hip starts going back instead of sliding forward. Here. So the hips and everything's turned away. Here's the step. And now left hip going back as the right hip goes forward. Ba-boom. Get a little sip, sip. It appears you've been skipped. What are you talking about? Skipped. The elbow mechanics cannot be good until the hips go first, because right now it forces you to move with the arms instead of hip pulling. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, skipped. Look, you're right here. Boom. You just got to download from the cloud first. Let the hand be the last thing to move, and then I'll look at the arm movement. But if you leave it here and you go forward, you're fine. The arm slot is if you're going to arm wrestle somebody, right? You got some space away from the body. There's strength here. So yeah. All right, let's see this guy that I didn't skip. Well, hey, 2 forehands in a row. I don't like seeing knee braces. So this is very similar in some ways, right? So watch the hips. Watch out. The hips aren't sliding forward even. They're staying back. So this whole thing right here is a weight. So he's having to overcome that weight with his arm. So you get to do the dance too. And then this scoop motion with the arm is incorrect. The motion is, it's here, and then here. Arm wrestle somebody, put their hand in the mat, right? The only difference is we're back here. Our wrist is here, and we go. It's not this, right? It's just here. It's just here. It's all here. But there's not even really this like back portion that's created by the hips going. That's created by the hips going and then stretching and then pulling. And so you leave the hand behind, and so hips go, and then eventually it starts pulling on the shoulder, starts pulling on the elbow, and this is where a lead with the elbow come in. The only thing you lead with the elbow is the hand, which is kind of important, but it's not like you're leading the whole, don't lead the whole throw with the elbow. We don't go from back here and go elbow forward, because that will destroy your arm. And also we don't go here and go and scoop. It's just here, put your hand in the dirt, right? Then we bend over, and now we're doing it here. So now it's here. So you need to practice the same thing. Again, I think hand here. And if I told you to slap someone in front of you with your arm being fused to your side here, and there are no joints, it's just here. That is the hip move. Right? You wouldn't go, right? Slap them that way. You want it, you would wind up, you go, and slap them that way. Not like that. Right? So get your arm slot correct. Learn this little fishtail move or this arm wrestling move here. And that's it. And when you see guys up here, right? So when you see them do their little, what do? They got their arm in this arm wrestling slot, and they turn their shoulders back, is what they did. Now, how do they get from here to here? They go with the hips, and they send it. I have not moved my arm at all. It's the hips go, drop my arm in the slot, and then once it tugs my arm, then I slap forward. Right? So yeah. Yeah, that was last year. Almost exactly a year ago that I caddied for Holland at Ledgestone. I thought, since it is the first week of the month, I thought about finding my way up there because I know someone local who's going. He's playing on the AM side. So I thought, okay, maybe I'll like reach out and be like, yo, you want a car ride, buddy? But we've got videos to film, so we got to do this thing called work. This thing called work, I just can't handle this. Do you square your hips forward at release? Your hips go from here to there. So they're becoming more and more square prior to release. And they're roughly forward at release. You want them to be forward for the most part at release. What's the issue with knee braces? Like, I don't like seeing them because usually it means that there's an injury there. And I just don't like people playing in ways that get them injured. It's like, a brace. Right, some people it's like overuse stuff, but yeah. Most cases, I'm not looking at people who are suffering from overuse injuries. Although there are way more than we would readily think about. Okay, who we say? JC the Short. Slept on my dad's couch last night, and I feel like my sternum wants to pop. But I can't get it to. Just weird. It's like crick in the neck? No, crick in the sternum. I'm like, I just slept on it wrong. What? How do you do that? How do you do that? Yeah. So here, I don't like where this is headed. Just because the balance is not there. Right, hips going back here. Now the hop, you know, kind of got you back on balance, but no. You need to stay on your left toe here and look how early the extension is because of how back you were early. And then wide here in your classic sea bass horse stance. The arm movement, though, pretty good. You gotta slow down and take some time on footwork. There are so many things I think that can push someone, depending on what they already have, between 450 to 500. Really depends on what they're already working with. Like, do they already have a great brace? Are they already like pretty deep in the pocket? Like, there's just so much. Okay, so footwork that you need to practice. Where is in frame? Okay, the whole thing. Perfect. So coming through here, you're going off balance and then compensating by a jump, but you're not, I'm not against the crow hop if it's done well. Right now it's just compensating for bad balance going into the X step. So I would rather you slow down and get through this X step clean than hop and kind of overcome that like leading with the upper body here. So here, stay balanced, keep the body, the upper body between the legs. You're going to need to get more onto your right toe and bend your knee and stick your butt out more so that this left leg can slot behind here without turning around, right? Create a little cubby here for the left to come through. So you can come through without turning the hips back. And then you can be balanced here. And I would actually stop, right? So in my lessons have issues with this. And we work through, okay, here, here, cool, here. And then once they get through here clean, I make them stop on the left, right? To display balance, to make sure we're on the toe, but more importantly, to give yourself time to think about what you're going to do on this next step. Because we got to switch from getting cleanly through the X step, which is, a thought. Okay, here we go. Boom. Let me go. Okay, toward my toe. Good. Knees bent, butt out. Cool. Knees bent, butt out. Cool. And now we got to switch from that kind of posture idea to I'm on my left toe. Now I've got to turn and step. Turn and step. Right? Or turn and fall, basically. Cool. Right, so you've got to go that slow until you can pick it up a little bit. Boom, boom, on the knees, on the knees, on the knees. Am I good? Okay, I'm good. Okay, turn, step, boom. And then eventually you can pick it up to where it's more automatic. Cool. And then you can start practicing your weight shift and stuff like that. Okay. What up? Let's see if my form went already. Did you submit one? Fusca, did you submit one? Because I don't have it if you did. King of Queens checking in. Yeah, I'm just going back through the things. Whoa, I'm being attacked from the inside. And it's not here, right? Okay, cool. Mikey's got you. Another forehand. Man, I love all the forehands today. I feel like forehand mistakes are just so much more simple to attack. It's just so simple in my mind. The backhand side is way less intuitive to me. So I'm not crazy about the amount of stagger you have. Just because from here it's going to cause you to have to pull your elbow around to an extent and to start it with the arm. Dude, I do like the claw finish though. I feel like we could Photoshop this in some like really funny ways. I can't, but somebody could. No, I don't roast people too hard. Unless I know them. Yeah, so watch the drop here. Here. See how the nose is really down there? Because the palm swung up. So Yep. We'll go to the Z Swirl XL. I feel like this is one of those discs that's just because they're not making. Are they still making the XL? Dakota, are you gone? Oh, there he is. I was just talking to you and you weren't there. I was like, oh, are they still making XLs? Oh. I said, are they still making XLs? It wasn't that important of a question. I was just curious. Yeah. Hello, screen. Getting his 15 seconds of fame, you know, Dakota. Okay, so you've got this scoop motion here, right? You don't need to be staggered across here. This kind of creates rounding almost like on the backhand side, right? So the elbow needs to see the line the whole time. So if you're staggered, now you have to pull the elbow over here, which means that you're going to start by arming. So instead, I'd rather see you way more in line to where you're throwing with your footwork, and then that way we can keep this over here, right? Which allows us just to slot the arm forward instead of having it come around. So you're here, coming around. Now the other thing is, we want just this forward move. It's just, again, to use previous example of arm wrestling, it's just here, their arm in the mat. It's not back, and then in the mat, it's just there, right? In the beginning, they kind of tug on you and pull it back a little bit on its own, but you're not doing that. That's your body moving ahead of your hand. And then, so just here, it's just this move. So I recommend when people are struggling with this, to even just start with their setup here. Don't even take it up here. You don't need a full swing in the beginning. You just want to get this arm motion correct. So get the wrist laid back, get over the shot, and then slap with the hips, right, which we did earlier. Slap with the hips. And then once it starts pulling the hand, then you send the hand forward. Right? So we don't need a lot of elbow changing here. I'm not saying pin it to your side the whole time, and I'm not saying keep it away from your side the whole time. Like when we throw a ball, be a little more forward or a little bit more back, but it's not here. It's not this. It's this. Right? From the side, it's not this. It's this. T1. Twan. Keep going, brother. Just keep posting. Okay, let's see who else is here. Oingova. What is your username? Oh, Eugene. Yeah, I think, Mikey, are you sending in that Fusca one? Okay, I got you. I got it. The file cannot be opened because it's not finished uploading to the cloud. I will wait until it finishes uploading.
4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Boom. There we go. All right. Vanilla. Yeah. Okay. Are you bending minds? Is that what you're doing right now? Nice. Good left-toedness. Wait a second. Okay. It's looking fairly clean. Like, depending on what you're trying to do, and you have a mid in your hand, so I'm assuming it's not distance stuff. You would coil more if you wanted more distance. You get deep enough. The thing that I'm looking at here is like the angle integrity in the pocket and kind of your nose angle. You spend a lot of time with your wrist. You spend a lot of time in nose up and then you stay there. Intentional or unintentional? And you could, if we're looking at like distance mechanics, you would want to delay your swing a little longer until your weight shifts more. Okay, you don't feel like you throw nose up. Yeah, it's it's kind of an interesting conversation because depending on the shot that you're throwing, like maybe you wanted nose up. That's the thing. Is there times where you want nose up? So I don't know if you're aiming for something specific here, where if you had this nose down, it would go. But you've got to get for sure the wrist down. Doesn't have to be down here necessarily, but it's probably not a bad idea to have it here. But for sure, you need to hit with your wrist down and not like neutral. So this is nose up. He doesn't need, I mean, his hips are doing fine. So he's got a good lateral move here. Could it be more pronounced? Sure. Could you get his left hip coiled like to the target more? Like get your left butt cheek more towards the target if you want more distance? Yeah. But again, it's kind of like depends on what you're trying to throw here. Because he's on a T-pad, right? If it's a 230-foot hole and he's throwing a mind bender, it's like you don't need all that coil. You don't need, you know, as big of a hip turn. But yeah, then the other thing is just making sure that it goes. So you're here right now, and now you've got the arm coming forward as you're shifting into this front foot. You need to go shift first, and then arm goes. So yeah. Yeah, you don't want to go like that with the hips. It's not the move. Nobody does that on the Pro Tour. Like, you're not going to find it. So you just, with the hips, you set the feet up and you set the hips up to move in tandem with the arm so that they're not in the way. So, and any hip engagement really comes from the front foot, you know, planting into the ground and forcing the hip to move a little. But yeah. So here, and then work on your timing. But yeah. Yeah, I agree with Blitz here. When people are working on nose angle stuff, I like something faster because it needs a better nose angle to go. So I believe it. 300 with the mid's good. But yeah, I mean, I throw putters and mids nose up intentionally often. Because I want them to land softer in a lot of cases. But yeah, your wrist angle here is not bad, but it like pops up here. I'll show you one Simona Giles. See here, it's got nose down here. But yeah, and then into the hip. Vanera. Yes, sir. Sip, sip. 7 left that we know of. Vanera. Slow-mo is kicked in. Whoop. Okay. So if you're gonna hop, I would recommend getting the foot more like this into the hop. Instead of back, so you're not early. See where Philo's disc and shoulders are at here. It's just going to help the timing. Right here. So you can get into this extension a little closer to when you throw. Because your arm and upper body are already moving forward. But you see how Philo's move forward because this foot stops. Watch this. There's the foot. Boom. And now the hips are shifting forward a little bit. The other thing is just the passivity of the shoulders for the most part. You very much start twisting at the beginning instead of just being back here and then sliding the hands through, letting the hands pass the body. Just letting the hands pass the body. Watch the right arm, just whoop, slips right past there. Watch yours. This initial turn with the body. See that? Kind of gets you stuck here on this left pec. Yeah. Before you go out, right? He gets all the way to about mid-chest here. Almost right pec. And then he goes out. So, if you're going to jump here with the left foot more square instead of back, doesn't have to be like totally perpendicular, but here, and then during that time, it lets you swing back more so that you're here around the time that this foot's hitting. Keeps you from wanting to squeak forward early. Here, and then you fall into this front heel. Boom, boom, fall, heel. My weight shift caused the carpet to move. And I was doing a downward weight shift. That's interesting. Oop. But yeah. And then once you're here, send the hands. Send the hand past the body. Don't start it with here, opening the shoulders. Leave the shoulders, let them do their thing, leave them back. Send the hands. Yes, sir. And watch Philo. Philo is your guy. I don't mind the hop at all, by the way. I like the hop when done well. I like the verticality and the drop into it. Some guys don't do that. You know, Simon's not really doing that. Drew's doing it a bit more, right? You kind of lift and then boom, drop into the plant, and that's how you're getting that pressure on the front foot. Some guys go way like more forward, but yeah. So you don't need to get rid of the hop, just do it correct. Okay. Got anybody else on here? When's Krev hopping on here? Yeah, it's not a bad thing. The nice thing about the pump and the pump's a great thing too, right? If you're going up onto this left foot, you know, you can pump up into that and then go down, or you can, right? So that's kind of swinging you up, right? And getting kind of tall on that left foot before you drop. So it's not a bad feel. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, Mikey, I'm just going to start going through people if you want to start doing timestamps on pre-coiling the wrist on reach back. I'm for it. I think probably more people need to do it when they're working on stuff. There are some guys who have it straight. There are some guys who even like pop it out and then go back in. Not many. Most of them, if it's bent here, it goes to like straight and pops back in. But yeah, like Ricky, who obviously throws real far, is bent. So lots of guys that are bent back there. I think it keeps you from doing weird stuff. So it's probably the simplest. All right, ACP 14. Emerson Keith is also a wrist coiler. Throws real far. Yeah, I'm unsure. You know, you get the thing is you get a little bit of that of a like a rebound effect, and so it makes the back side of the disc right want to come in deep, and then it wants you to, and then there it really feels like it wants to rebound back out into the hit, right, and that's where. So I'm sure there, like, if you could time it right, there's probably benefit, but also, like, if you go too fast, the wrist is not something you want to start, like, messing with, like, actively trying to utilize too much on that side of the arm. It's not like on this side of the arm where it's just forearm muscles are good. It's like going the opposite way. But yeah. Du moment. See, like, there's a nice little pump. Kept him going forward through his X. Yeah. It's a nice rhythm. Come on. There we go. Let's see what we got going. Oh, it looks like he's focusing on the like on the disc gripping and just checking his hand. So you do have to be careful, and this is one of the reasons I'm really thinking about making this video, is full speed throws, which this does not look like a full speed throw, but full speed throws, you never want to like stop and force your momentum to like, if it's at the end of a chain, you don't want that to force stop. There's a follow through for a reason, right? So that was a drill to make sure at slower speeds that your hand's actually still closed. So when you're going with a full walk up and a full backswing and things like that, let your arm follow through and keep going. It's not too bad here because you can see this chest and all that continues going, but go ahead and let the chest continue to open up. All right, now let's see here, because there's some weird stuff going on in the pocket here. Yeah, here. So your redirect is happening really early and the disc like doesn't know where to go, so it's kind of gets jumbled up here. So you basically go and then you go stop and then you go oh, that's a square. Redo. And then right, so that's why your disc, like if you run into it, you're not just gonna like hit the car in front of you, right? You can go around them. Right, so continue to let the elbow move forward, right? We want to have the disc move forward. And then the redirect is going to happen after that. So we want, when we practice, hand on the back of the disc, moving it forward, 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 forward. Now you see my elbows past my body, right? Continue moving it forward, continue moving it forward. Boom. And then this is where it starts curling out. So let it continue to go. Don't jam it up there, right? So don't jam it here and try to redirect it out away from your body there. Let it pass through the pocket and continue going forward. The disc moves forward. So here, forward, 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 forward. And here is a slight change in direction. Here, where our arm starts unfurling post pocket. Here. And this little redirection here makes it so that the disc wants to go this way. Right? And this is the purpose of the grip, is if our grip is too loose, then it just comes out early and goes left, right? And it just goes that way out of the body. Instead, we want to keep it going forward. So this little outward move here, we grip so that we redirect the disc forward. Right? So it's just there. And when you practice that, slow speeds here through. So disc still moving forward, hands still towards the back of the disc, 8 to 9 o'clock, somewhere in there. And then we practice follow through. Right? So then eventually it looks something like, once we get up to speed, okay, so there's slow, there's a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. I didn't grip it tight enough to get a full redirect there. It came out early. I'm also scared of hitting the window behind me. So, especially at slow speeds, because I can fully grip lock it. But let's go a little faster. All right, so that's just disc forward with the hand on the backside. That was a good little redirect there. Could feel it. Hello? Okay, next is Frank Fred. He said he can hear me through the headphones, so I don't have to yell. What conversation is happening here? And why do I need to throw Eagle or Simon here to compare? That pull through. My pull through? Oh, I forgot who this was for a second. Are the, yeah. Let's see. So this is actually too spread apart here. Like your right knee's probably a little too far back. Gets you jammed up a little bit, I think. So your right foot can be pointing forward a little bit more here. The arm, okay, so the body move is not bad. Yeah, this like little swing around that you have to do here is because your like hips were just locked out a little bit. But get the right foot facing a little bit more forward, and I think you're good there. And then you've got a little bit of a scoop, so, but it's not enough that I'm like, okay, I have to like reinvent this guy's form here. So you've got a little bit of this, your palm like popping up early. Just keep your, however your fingers are in the rim, basically, when the disc is flat, that's how you're popping your hand forward. So for me, this is nose down. So I'm going to pop forward on the rim in this same way. I'm not going to change to my palm going up at all. Right, you've got a little bit of this in there, and you just need to grind this out like that. So that's first thing. Second thing is we talked about this right foot being a little further back. It's going to lock your hips out here, so you're going to have to throw your body weight around to get there. Just point your right foot a little bit, maybe forward even, or roughly 90. Right now you've got all this beautiful room to rotate versus here, where this is all I've got, because now this gets locked out, and that's why you're rolling on the side of this foot here to start, right? Instead of being able to have this right butt cheek go. This is why people get toe drag sometimes on their foot, on their trail foot. And I might be one of them. Not saying to drag your toe. Okay. I will clarify this point. First, Drew. Watch here. Drew's hand is more toward the front of the disc than most other people. So watch the path of his arm sliding through. No shoulder rotation. Check out his back shoulder. Here's his back shoulder. Not driving rotation. It's staying right there on the fence as the hand passes it. Hand passing by, hand passing by, right? And this is the point. Did he rotate his shoulders forward? Yes, the shoulders rotated forward, but they rotated because the hand was moving the disc forward. Like when you toss your trash bag into your dumpster, you don't think, let me throw my shoulders first and lag this bag behind and then do it, right? This is the backhand. It's just your hands go, your hips rotated forward, your shoulders rotated forward, but they did it in conjunction with the hand, not before the hand. Right? Now where people, so that's why I've recently stopped using the term lag on the backhand side, because it's not lag in the sense that we think of like a forehand. Since the arm is here on this side of the body for the backhand, if we send everything else first, we get into a collapsed pocket, which they don't do. Watch here. All right. So we can't send everything else first because this is our lead shoulder that we're throwing with. On the forehand side, it's our back shoulder, so we can send everything else in front, and all it does is stretch us further back. Right? And then we snap it forward. Right? But we don't do it on the backhand side. And then this is why I'm going to have a video this week probably, because I need to re-explain that topic and need to talk a little bit more about the redirect. I need to talk about arming the disc, because just because you're using your arms doesn't mean that you're arming the disc. Right? It's if you try to fire everything else first, right? Again, back to the trash bag thing, tossing the trash bag up. If you go like this first, well, your hips and your body and all that cannot get the bag where it needs to go. So what is left after you fire everything else? Your arms. And when your arms are like this against your body, it takes way more effort to go and get that trash bag up, because you sent all of your big muscles up ahead and they can't help the hands go. Right? So that's what it's like on the back. That's arming. That's what people feel like. I'm arming the disc. I'm arming the disc. Right? And people are like, Josh, you changed. You're teaching people to arm the disc. It's like, no, you just don't understand, and that's okay. But ask questions first, then draw conclusions later. Questions first, conclusions later. Okay. Simon for good measure. More curled around the disc, Simon is. So here we go. Here's that 9/8 o'clock position. Tuk, 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 tuk. Hand passing the body. Very still back shoulder, because the shoulder only moves as much as it has to get the hands forward. Hand passing body. Shadow part on fence. Watch this here. Bunk, 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 bunk. What? How is it driving rotation if it doesn't move for like a million frames while the lead arm goes? A million being 4. Right? It's way more passive. So, rant over. Will you say the back arm is mostly used to keep your upper back stretched out so everything moves as a unit? The lead arm is balance, because your right arm's going back, right? And now as you extend your right arm back, you need to balance that. You need to stay balanced with your body, right? If you send both back, now you're going to be off balance. So first off, it balances, right? Second, it helps this rotation happen, this coil of the shoulders backwards, right? The backwards rotation. Then it gets tight. And then it helps open up this chest later. Some would disagree. Some would say that the off arm does nothing, that it just gets tight and you want it to reduce drag. Very good coach says that. And then there's another one who says it's used. From a tennis background, I'm prone to say that after it comes in, the swim move does exist. And it does help because that's how we teach it in tennis. And people who don't do it have a crappy one-hand backhand. And volleys, you got to punch that off arm back to get more pop. It's just totally different game when you start doing that. So that's one of those things where I'm actually like, okay, from my experience. But yeah, anyway. All right, next up, Mikey, is Sage. Next up, Mikey, is Sage Frisbees. How did he hear me? I was whispering. I want to know what love. Vertical video. Never mind. Delete. Delete. Want you to show me.
Put your iPad in focus mode. People see your notifications.
They should know that my father and I communicate. We do, in fact, communicate. Focus. Oh. Do my eyes dilate? What happens? Ayya. Okay. Issue. The hips are back a bit early and uncoiling. Okay. Oof. This is arming. I don't know why it always happens like this. I talk about something, I go in depth, and then the next person to show up does the exact thing that I was just hammering on. Sorry, Sage Frisbees. This is not me just wanting to hammer you. But here is where it feels really hard to throw. Is when you throw from this position. The pocket is collapsed and you're coming out around this back shoulder. That is just tough to throw far. It feels tough. You got to be so strong to overcome this like long path. Oh! There's an order.
What do you mean there's an order? Oh, baby.
Okay, I'm going to let you...
Oh, that's...
Oh, for sure. One box.
Where's the photo?
Well, I'm going to do this form review first. We'll do it at the end of the stream.
Okay.
We'll open them. But yeah.
Okay.
What's up, homie? Choo! Been waiting on this. Yes.
What's your last name again?
White.
White. Gotcha.
Thanks, big dog.
Have a good one.
You as well. Ooh, this one's heavier. If you guys wanted to know my last name, it's White. I was trying not to get them to name me based on the color of my skin. I'm tan now. Josh the Tan. Oh, yes. Josh the White. That is what they used to call me. Now, I'm Josh the Tan. Boom, boom, boom. Pretty fly for a white guy. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Marty McFly. Pretty fly for a white guy. Okay. Now, first, the arm is an issue here, right? But the arm's an issue because, or the arm won't become a non-issue until the footwork isn't opening up here, right? Because once you start twisting your upper body forward, if you leave your arm here and you start with the twist here, it's going to pull this disc more behind your body, right? So this is why it's important to weight shift prior to doing that. But you can't do that if you're opening up, right? This is naturally, even if I keep my arm in the same place, if I go like this, it's pulling this around. And if I do this with any force, my arm gets plastered to my body. So instead, we need to get this last step to where we're turning the opposite direction. So we need to get our right butt cheek to go to the target here, to where our knee is pointed back a little bit. Or another way of saying this is during this last step. So first you want to get into this side step here. This X step needs to be side on. Bend your knees. Let this left knee slop behind the right knee here. Right, and then from there, we're going to pause here, balanced on the left toe. Now we're going to take our left butt cheek and turn it towards the target. Left butt cheek to the target. Right, the shoulders go back, the left butt cheek goes to the target. There's no other move inside of this. There's no slightly back and then open. We have to go back the whole time. So it's the whole time we're turning more and more of that cheek to the target. And then we settle. And now we can move the hands through. So. And there ain't no way to practice this but to practice it. Like, you just got to hammer through. Boom. Okay, we're not going to turn during this X. We're going to make sure we get our toes here. Boom. Good. Still uncoiled here. Great. Now I can coil. Practice the weight shift while we're here. Onto that heel. And now hands go. Yeah, if you turn during your X step, you can make it gigantic. Like, if you turn your hips completely back through your X step, you can have a massive step, right? Because you're just walking backwards at that point, or in some people's cases, running. Yep, grip will do that. That's why it's good to have it hammered out earlier rather than later. Okay, next one, Mikey, cyanide angst. Cyanide angst. We do in-person sessions. Yes. Tim Dunn. I have a student with the last name Dunn. We're in Lynchburg, Virginia. And if it's raining, we could just do it in here. 3 more left. I guess Krev's going to be the last one before we unbox these watts. Woo. Here comes the pressure to the heel. You started off bent over here, and that was nice. And then you stand up during this process and kind of take your room away. and you pull it out of your left pec. And then press up for a nose up hit here. So you're here, and then once you start going through, you're standing up at the waist and pulling the disc into the left side here. And then you start opening up here, and it's coming out of the left side, making it very, very slow. And the angle changes, and it makes it tough to get a consistent nose angle. But so stay bent here, and don't stand up through here. Just get the hand through here. So you should still be over. You still have this nice space. For the disc to pass through here. Straight into the right pec. Straight through the pocket, basically. And then, phew. And then out of here. I mean, in the pocket, you should probably just already have the wrist down for the nose angle. So that you hit with it down, out. So yeah. I think even like you could plant still a little earlier than you're pulling through, or you could pull through later than you are. Just by a hair. Stay bent. Get it all the way through the pocket. Wrist down. Keep working on your beard. I wonder how many I wonder how many inches on his beard he's grown since I first saw him. It's like almost a little mini time lapse. Yeah, sometimes I'm in the form and it's just like I'm also like telling myself like, yeah, it needs to be here. It needs to be here. Practicing. I get a lot of shadow swings in with students, but I don't get to practice as much with real throws. Okay, next Mikey is Bizgiz. In my mind, it's always been Biggs. He's full James Proctor. Hey, I respect it. Yeah, don't press up with that thumb and wrist. You see this coming out of the pocket? He's got this little like where he goes like monkey bars. What do they call that? on bikes. Yeah. Anyways, don't motorcycle it. Here, just keep. You're going and you're rolling down. Keep it down, right? Down. Later, you can flip the hand over for some increased range of motion on your follow through, but into the hit, it needs to go here, not helping with the wrist and popping out. Fun fact, if you flare your wrist all the way this way and then try to go like as nose down as you can, it's not very nose down. If you curl your wrist in, you get way more nose down. But yeah. Yeah, throttle. Not to say that the wrist can't straighten out into the hit, but we don't want to throttle it ourselves, you know. And through the pocket. Yeah. I feel like every time I say something like this, it's like, oh, okay, you know, that's simple or meh. Like, oh, Josh, that's all you got? That's kind of what I imagine, like the response being on the other end. But it's like so important to learn like your position at the hit. It's like just as important as, you know, a tennis player keeping their strings down or a golfer with their club face at impact. It's like so important to have control over that moment. And there are things like leading up to it that really, I mean, it's the most important moment, right? Like what's happening here? I think you could get your left butt cheek back more to the target. Like that hip could clear a little bit more. Right, and this is you figuring out kind of like, okay, how do I actually stop on this front foot? So I don't feel like I need to address the not going forward enough, right? Not following through up as you press up on this leg, because you're still working it out, right? You'll figure. I think you'll figure out that balance and all that kind of on your own. So I'm not too worried about that. Prevagen is the last one. And then the watts. You guys get to see us open the watts. I didn't know if we'd be on long enough for that. World's tiniest T-pad for the world's tiniest man. What? No, he's tall. He's one of them tall peeps. Yeah. Get your toe here. So this is a posture thing. Get to your right toe here. Bend that knee so that this other knee doesn't have to go around it and put you backwards through your X. See there? Krev, what are you wearing? Long sleeves or an elbow sleeve? Elbow sleeve. I don't like that. I don't like that, brother. What is happening here? Whoa! Okay. You're just preparing them for the opening.
Well, I'm looking at making sure how many prints and something. I know it's at least 3. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let me explain 2 things about your walk-up. If you don't get to this, if you don't get off this right heel, so we can do these first couple steps. Let's say we do a 5-step walk-up. This step can be normal walking posture. This step can be normal walking posture, and you can take them the same. I can go heel toe, and here I can even go in heel first, but this step has to end on the toe. Cannot stay on the heel. So some people start in their boom, in the posture to start, and now they're in this low, the knees are bent, the butt's out, their chest is over their knees, right? And then they kind of stay there. Albert Tom, Hina Blomroos. Other people, like Drew, for example, might start here and might start kind of walking and then roll onto the toe here. And the reason that this is important to get onto the toe is so that you can get this front leg bent. Because if you just stay here and your butt sits underneath the rest of your body, then there's no room for this left leg to pass. It can't do it. So it has to go around. And when it goes around, it turns the rest of your body back. Okay, so in this right step, we've got to go down into the leg so that we create a little cubby here for this one to go through. So, and that means getting on the toe here. You're not going to be bent and on the heel here. It's just not going to happen, right? You're going to stand up too much. So here, here, and now we're not turned around. And now we can have a normal turn. And then we brace. And then we need to start pressing up. It's not like you don't force, you don't snap this leg straight at some like random time, right? Just like we don't snap the arm straight. So here, going in, to get pressure on the front foot and to get stopped, we don't need the leg to be straight, right? I can stop totally fine without the leg being straight. Probably better for some people that it's not straight. So we're here, the arm's back here, boom. Now, as the arm passes, imagine I'm holding a bucket of water, right? And I'm going to splash somebody in front of me with water. I'm going to be here. My front leg is bent while I'm loading up, right? And then I stomp here to make sure that I don't go over with the water. And then when the water, which is very heavy inside this bucket, starts going past, I don't want to go with it, right? So now I start straightening out this leg naturally. If I've got a bucket of water, when we have a disc in our hand, we don't do it naturally because we don't think of it like this. But once I get here, in order to keep the water going and me not going with it, I straighten out this leg. So if I'm going to pour water on somebody, I just do it like this. Right? Now I've got my hip clearing. This foot straightens out. This foot is de-weighted. Right? That's the whole timing piece there. The only difference is sometimes people do water like this, where they step forward like this, which is kind of weird. So we just want to make sure that we get a little turn before that. And then toss it and stay behind it. Here. Right? And now I'm straightened. So just do all that, Krev. Boom. I'm a beast. What? All right. Let me put these back. I'll let Mikey get the setup that he wants. and you guys get to see us open up our MVP boxes of the Watts. We need to make sure addresses are on. Oh, why would that happen?
Yeah, because that's not.
We are.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting these back.
Oh, gotcha.
In the Z Swirl XL. All right. How are they seeing it?
The box has seen
The
better days.
Okay, if we're doing it there, I'm just. Are we doing it here?
Yeah. People can see. All right, first box. Well, I have this thing. Pretty much the same. This is pretty much the same.
We have two misprints in there somewhere.
Yes.
That's Josh.
Actually, I don't want to. I don't want to misprint this time.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Oh, I found a white one.
Wait.
What?
Bro, what?
That's not right.
Uh-oh.
That's
Hey,
Is this right?
why are some of them
Wait a
different
second.
colors?
I'm so confused. I'm glad that they're different colors.
I got you. I got you guys.
Yeah, what is this? That's rainbow. Is the rainbow just different gradients at different points? No.
Yes, sir. I like it though. It's not exactly what
It says
we-
Spark, but we decided to call this cat Sparky.
Bro, these are sick.
Look at this
Oh!
Show.
one. Here.
No problem
Oh,
showing.
the Mike was about to say, don't show it, I want it.
No, I definitely am
He
taking
can,
that.
he can still take it.
That one's, dude, pink and yellow is
Okay.
kind of sick.
So, there's no earthly realm in which we can post like individual ones.
Right.
This is gonna have to be
Whoa.
all over the camera.
Feels interesting in the hand.
That
Oh,
right there
wait, I found mine. Look at this.
is
Wow.
this one's me.
I'm not. They're one box in. I'm not so sure on mine.
That's so sick.
I'm setting this aside just in case. This might
Okay. we've
That's
got
kind of
more.
cool.
Yeah, here.
Hey, these turned out great.
No, it looks fantastic. We're just gonna.
I'm guessing these are going to be kind of like the glitches where we got to be careful about putting the 165.
Yeah,
what happened to
there's 50 of them.
Oh, his face
His face is not colored. It's
is not colored.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, if it
Dude.
was colored, then there wouldn't be a gap.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that, but yeah, there's no way.
Wow. Okay, well, patrons, you know the deal. We're going to give you a little early pickings to some extent. I mean, we can't.
Wow. These are pretty sick.
I want to see the foils.
Yeah.
Someone unbox.
Oh, I wish. Bro. We should also do an Instagram live.
Yeah. We can do that after we treat our YouTubers to a good. Whoa, bro. The heck?
Oh, this is the double stamp.
And
He said, "Sequel."
I want to see them, but I love it.
Hey, there's another one of these.
Okay, usually I go for double stamps because, you know, they usually look kind of cool, but I think they only look cool if it's not a, like, really good design. You know?
Let's give my other one a run for its
Oh, this one. Wait, but this one where it's blue.
Whoa. That's
Oh, that looks really cool.
That one's sick.
The pink looks.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that great? That might be the one to go with. I don't know.
That
All
one's
right.
So sick.
Here, you got that one.
Showing.
Yeah, it's like this weird gradient thing with that rainbow color.
Yeah, it's not the foil we asked for, but it turned out cool. Oh,
This
man.
is the photo we asked for. This is
No, we asked for hollow
like a
mix. This is like a.
This one's cool.
Oh, Josh, the disc itself.
It's
Whoa.
actually mixed. Yeah, like an orange dead center.
Dang. These are nasty.
These are
Oh, I love the gray.
these as good as the gray. Yes.
I think they're better.
I think they're better than the
I think
gray.
they're better.
I like
I love this color. This color is also a mix of purple and blue. Or pink and blue.
Ooh.
That's clean.
There you go.
Are you going double?
No, I want normal.
I was gonna say that one looks
So
like
we
a
have three
Josh.
misprints in there somewhere. So I'll put them as a separate thing.
That one looks like a Josh disc. Oh, the light. Oh my
The
goodness,
mixed classics are just so cool.
bro.
It's got a splash of pink in it and some
I
like
know.
white.
Fade green.
Yeah.
Bro.
This is just.
Here's what we could do for our patrons. We can go some kind of like Patreon live
Mm-hmm.
and then just go one by one. And if they want, then we just put it aside.
Yeah.
I mean, we only have to go through like 150, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on if they want a lighter weight, we only go to 50. But I'm about to separate these
Right.
so that I can start getting light weight colors.
Well, just in case, I'm taking 2 for myself.
I'm taking one for me and one that I can use for my.
Josh,
there's a
I
whole-
need you to pick yours
there's a whole nother
because
box.
I need you to pick yours, and it better be this.
There's a whole nother box.
I know, but
I'm going to look at them all.
okay.
I can't decide just by
Yeah, I
seeing
can't
part of
either.
them.
I can't either. Well, yes, I can.
Okay, guys. Well, we got our work cut out for us. If you're a patron, then you're gonna be able to buy yours earlier than not. Sweet.
It does feel a good bit like a glitch.
Yeah. It's kind of half glitchy.
It's not quite as narrow of a rim. It's not quite as deep.